know what you said, but it must have been Indian for handsome devil.
Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try. I don't know how to feel, but someday I might. Someday I might.
2024's nominees are a really good lineup for Best Picture. Last year was one triangle of sadness away from being an all-timer Best Picture class. Seriously, you couldn't nominate RRR, Decision to Leave, or Nope? So without further ado, here are my ground rules. And let's start off with my number 10, American Fiction. American Fiction is this year's Licorice Pizza. The film I wanted so badly to be good, but it fell completely short. While I was hardcore in love with its midsection, and Jeffrey Wright's monk telling off Twitter Tara's green-haired sister, it felt like a 90-minute premise stretched to 2 hours. Oh, by the way, here's this rejected This Is Us script awkwardly shoehorned into the plot. I didn't hate this movie by any means, it just should have focused more on its A+A story of this frustrated writer creating this monster of a book. Number 9, Barbie. I really like Barbie. Hell, it was an honorable mention on my favorite films video. It's not Best Picture. Personally, this slot in America Ferrera's nomination should have gone to Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Seriously, America Ferrera got nominated for a basic white girl's Instagram post. Not helping matters is the discourse. I probably already pissed off enough people saying just that. Barbie has become the leftist sound of freedom, wherein if you don't give it rapturous praise, you should be thrown in Guantanamo Bay. All that aside, I do feel it deserves its technical awards, the adapted screenplay nomination, and its original song nominations. Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach did the unthinkable and made what could have been a toy commercial into high art. But personally, I preferred the Lego movie way more. But as Best Picture, there were several other films I felt were far more deserving. Number 8, Anatomy of a Fall. Because we all know Greta Gerwig is going to be the token female director Oscar nominee to make the Academy look good. 1 week later...
The nominees are Justine Triet, Anatomy of a Fall.
I named the wrong filmmaker, but my point still stands. Anatomy of a Fall is this year's tailor-made for the Criterion Collection nominee. I won't be surprised if this is available just in time for the June Barnes & Noble half-off sale. And just as I finished writing this sentence, it's dropping in May just in time for the Criterion sale. The film stars Sandra Hüller as a woman on trial for allegedly killing her husband. And I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's a little overhyped. I like this film, but I didn't love it. Anatomy of a Fall is basically fancy Law and Order. Nobody brings up anything about this film except for the dog Snoop and the argument scene. However, 1 month after the worst PIMP needle drop in Expendables, we got one of the best needle drops of PIMP. But I do get why this is nominated for Best Picture and was last year's Palme d'Or winner. Hüller delivers a very showy performance, and I love how French Court doesn't fuck around. But I feel the MVP is Milo Mikado-Grainer. That kid delivered the other stellar child star performance that should have been Oscar nominated. Anatomy of a Fall is a solid flick, and at least it wasn't fucking Triangle of Sadness. Number 7, Maestro.
Really? Over Anatomy of a Fall? Did you not read my single-spaced, 20-page, half-star review of this film? Maestro was the worst thing to happen to the Oscars since Everything Everywhere All at Once won all of its awards.
Controversial opinion time. Maestro is not the worst movie ever made. I just watched Dix the Musical, which I feel is far more offensive to the gay community than this is. Fight the real enemy, film Twitter. Maestro is what I like to call a mom movie. This is a movie I knew my mom would like. Seriously, she raved about this during our Christmas get-together. But I do get why this is nominated for Best Picture. Cooper leveled up as a filmmaker and put his all into this film. Even if this film just screams, "Give me an Oscar!" You can tell this was a story Cooper wanted to tell. Film Twitter. Sometimes a film can just be pretty good. Because you best believe if an A24 logo showed up in front of this instead of a Netflix one, you'd be calling this a masterpiece. Maestro doesn't deserve its hate. Sorry, not sorry. Number 6, Killers of the Flower Moon. Killers of the Flower Moon was a film I needed to watch again before I could properly rank it. I still stand firm on my 3.5 rating, but scenes I really didn't like the first time around clicked on my second viewing. If you turned out 45 minutes from this film, this would be my number 1 with a bullet. This film has my favorite performance of the year with Lily Gladstone's Molly Burkhart. As if she weren't in this movie, I don't think it would have worked as well. Killers of the Flower Moon is Scorsese telling the world about a dark chapter of American history that needed to be told. Even if it's mid-tier Scorsese is better than most average filmmakers' overall best films, with fantastic performances across the board, including Brendan Fraser just coming in for 2 minutes and just killing it.
Brendan Fraser deserves to be canceled for winning the Oscar for The Whale. Another film I wrote a 20-page, single-spaced, half-star review for, all because I hate the sight of fat people living their lives. Oh, whatever.
Number 5, Past Lives. Past Lives is the little indie that could. Granted, that little indie had an A24 logo in front of it, but it probably would have been a Best Picture nominee otherwise. Celine Song knocked her feature film directorial debut out of the park. A lot of people were screaming into the void that Margot Robbie got snubbed for Best Actress for Barbie. No. The correct answer for who got snubbed for Best Actress is Greta Lee, as she takes you on a compelling journey of finding love both in the past and present, and the what-if scenario of being with the love of your life versus your first true love. Also, shout out to John Ligaro, who plays Nora's husband and isn't treated like a villain standing in the way of Nora's reconnection with Haesong. Past Lives is a genuinely wonderful film that makes me think of my own what-if scenarios in my personal romantic love life. Celine Song delivered a stellar directorial debut. Even if I wasn't exactly in love with some of the present-day moments in the screenplay, it's a film that's at times messy, just like the idea of falling in love, and that's what makes it a great film. I can't wait to see what Celine Song does next. Number 4, The Holdovers. Speaking of Licorice Pizza, The Holdovers is exactly the film Licorice Pizza thought it was. An incredibly awesome hangout film with a killer soundtrack, The Holdovers has 3 stellar performances at its core. All 3 of these characters are fully developed flesh and blood human beings with their own needs and desires. I cannot stress enough how good Paul Giamatti, Da'Vine Joy Randolph, and Dominic Sessa are in this film. I genuinely love how well written it is, and more importantly, it's going to be a part of my Christmas canon going forward. The Holdovers is a perfect comfort food movie. Also, way to go, Paul, for getting with your dominatrix from Billions. If he can land a girl like that, then there's hope for me. Number 3, Poor Things. If you've seen my favorite films video, you notice the rankings for this and The Holdovers are switched around. The Best Picture nominee video isn't Favorite Films 2.0, but rather ranking them by the films I want to see win Best Picture. Poor Things is a spectacular feast for the eyes that would have me laughing my ass off at one moment and feeling for Bella Baxter in another one. Emma Stone is just spectacular in this film, as it's also a film I didn't know where it was going to go. Yorgos Lanthimos delivers a marvelous film that passionately says sex is good, actually. Also, fuck Bob Iger for only providing a Blu-ray release for this. I can't wait for Sony to take over Disney's physical media distribution. Number 2, The Zone of Interest. Futures made of virtual insanity. Isn't this a fucking awesome song and video? Because the same guy who directed this video directed this haunting meditation of evil. It's amazing how in the course of 2 days, I watched both the worst A24 movie with Dix the Musical and easily one of the best with The Zone of Interest. I try not to let recency bias affect my rankings. Hell, American Fiction is number 10 and was the second to last movie I needed to see to do this list. But The Zone of Interest is one of those films where your imagination takes it to darker places, thus making it scarier. Just the mere notion of this family having pool parties while atrocities in Auschwitz are happening next door, or Rudolf Haas nonchalantly figuring out ways to efficiently kill Jewish people, is enough to send shivers down your spine. It's almost as if we need this movie right now. Personally, I felt Sandra Hüller's performance in The Zone of Interest is far superior to her performance in Anatomy of a Fall, where the latter is a really good, albeit super showy, Oscar-friendly nomination for Best Actress versus Zone of Interest's more quiet, haunting, and reserved performance. Though I will never watch this again, it's so effective that you only need to watch it once and it will stick with you for the rest of your life. And surprise, surprise, the film I want to win Best Picture is Oppenheimer.
That Reddit core film?
Again, I know, so predictable. What's left to say about Oppenheimer that hasn't already been said? What's great about Oppenheimer is that this isn't an apology nominee like Scorsese with The Departed. This is easily top 3 Nolan for me behind Memento and The Dark Knight. If Nolan wins director and picture for this, it will be completely earned. Oppenheimer is an engaging 3-hour odyssey into the mind of a man who created the atomic bomb. I feel this film is going to sweep most of the major categories, and I feel that each win will be earned. Oppenheimer was a major risk that absolutely paid off. Hell, Warner Brothers Discovery is crawling back to him after screwing him over. I really hope that this is the second year in a row that my favorite film wins Best Picture. Be sure to like, comment, share, spread the word in New Realms Media. Follow me on all my socials at New Realms Media. And until then, I'll see you next time.